Memento.
We're now streaming live on YouTube.
Got it.
That is
Yay.
the beginning and the end of excitement. My goodness. And just for that,
It's Reverend Bill with your God Call.
what if none of this were true? What if none of the assumptions and observations and experiences that you've had have meant what you thought they meant, have been what you thought they've been? Perhaps there's something going on which is much greater, much deeper, much more profound and wonderful than you've experienced so far. For today, try letting go of the attachment to the thought that you already know what's going on. Open yourself to new insight and wisdom. Allow the gift that's at hand to be presented to you in a way that you can enjoy and appreciate.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright, blessed day and the dark, sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? What they're really saying is, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, Gillian. Wonderful. That is just so beautiful. It's hard to play unhappy music on a harp. And maybe that's not true, but Gillian can tell us a little bit more about that. Good morning, New Thought Philadelphia. We are here on Zoom as we burst into March. If you're in part of the country where there are buds starting to show up on the trees and crocuses starting to show up on the grass, then it is the reminder that there's something percolating. There's something going on, and it might involve us. So let us join to actually remind you the rules on Zoom. Leave yourself muted except when you're going to be sharing. And let's all share together now. Let's unmute and have a joyous springtime cacophony as this all comes up at the same time. Repeat after me. I open myself to love.
I open
I open
myself to
myself
love.
to love.
I open myself to joy.
I
I
open
open
myself to
myself to
joy.
joy.
I open myself to the awareness of the good that's blossoming now.
I
I
open
open
myself
myself
to
to the
the
awareness
good
of the
that is
goodness
blossoming
that's
now.
blossoming now.
I know love is right here, right now.
I know that love is right here, right now.
And so it
So it
is.
is.
So it is.
Okay, try that mute button one more time, and I will remind you that New Thought Philadelphia is an open and loving community of spiritual adventurers, welcoming each person to experience their divine nature in an empowering space of unconditional love. Whatever path you've been on, whatever brought you to our group today, and wherever you're heading next, we have been expecting you, and welcome home. Really simple group of beliefs that we mostly agree on here, and it's not that we have to; it's just that we tend to. We believe there's one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything, including each of us, and that we're each using that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives according to our beliefs. The way we like to say it here: your new life begins with a new thought. If you have extraneous electronic devices that might be buzzing, beeping, whirring, or otherwise distracting you in the next hour or so, go ahead and put them on shush so that we can turn ourselves inward and be focused on our community together. I'm Bill Marchiony, the spiritual director at New Thought Philadelphia. Our music today is Gillian Grassie, who we met in Philadelphia and then she ran away to California. But thank goodness we're on Zoom because we can still have you. Thank you for being here today. And the practitioners who we have for the celebration today are Carolyn Nixon, RSCP, and Joe Catanzaro, RSCP. And Joe is going to open today the way we open everything, with a practical prayer.
Good morning. Good to be here. Take a breath, settle in, and know with me that we are each part of that one power, that one light, that one presence and intelligence, that mind. And we can co-create with that. We can co-create our lives. We have that same power, that same mind, that same knowing, because we are each individual expressions of that. That's the basic facts. And why do we talk about it? Because we need to remember. We come together here on Sundays to remember that, to refresh, to renew, to rejoin, to reconnect with that truth of who we are. Because once we do that, just like the more candles that are lit, the bigger the light. We create a greater light and a greater force when we can come together. So for all of the good that we are here to create today, the connection, the love, the sharing, the insights, the music, the words, just the general community feeling, no matter how far away we are, we create all of that here today, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for each one here and everything we bring. And so for all of this, I allow it, I claim it, and I accept it for each one here. And with gratitude, deep gratitude, I release my words of the law that always says yes, and so it is.
And so it is. So it is. Thank you, Joe. So prayer works. We know that prayer works. We have empirical evidence that prayer works because we have a condition or an experience, and then we do a prayer, and then we have a different experience, and that's the prayer working. So this is a time we get to share examples of how our prayers have been working. So if you have a prayer works story, Jane's got one. I know. Go ahead, Jane, and then Joe, and then Breen. And oh, look at this. It's like popcorn.
Good morning. So I didn't really think I had a prayer work story to say today, but then it happened just a few minutes ago. So I've been really missing my parents lately, and so I've been doing some practical prayer around, maybe just feeling their presence a little stronger, and so sorry. So when Gillian started playing, it's like we played It's a Wonderful World at my mom's memorial service. And we had a harpist play at my dad's bedside when he was in hospice for like an hour, and it was so beautiful. So something tells me they're around here someplace. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jane. Yeah. Joe?
Thank you, Jane. That brings up a lot for me as well. So I'm right there with you. But so this is kind of I don't know, kind of a weird prayer work story in a way, because I didn't actually do the practical prayer, but it's running in the background. So like everybody else, or like a lot of other people, not everybody, I have, some anxiety and some concerns about climate change. And I was reading, I forget where I read it. Maybe it was Wired magazine. I can't remember. But apparently there's this new thing with up and coming comedians. They are taking this giant, complex scientific issue of climate change and making it funny and making it understandable. And I thought, wow, that might get a few more people on board. How about that? So it just gave me a little bit of, I don't know, hope, better, more positivity. It just made me feel a whole lot better that there's little things happening all out there that we don't even know about that can make some changes. So there you have it.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, and prayers get to work in the background. When we set an intention for something to be going on, then it can sometimes show up and continue to echo for years and years and years. I just saw a piece this morning that there's now a new industry, which is climate change tourism, which is inviting people to go see things before they're gone, which is a cynical approach to the same thing. But if you want to see a glacier or if you want to see a low-lying island, this is a good time. It's a good time. Breen?
So I was traveling for business last week. I went out to Minnesota for a couple of days, and coming on Friday morning, my flight was supposed to leave at 7. Um, and I thought, well, I'm really close to the airport, and it's Minnesota. Like, how crowded will it be? So I didn't get up till 4:30 instead of 4 o'clock. Um, and I will save you the comedy of errors, but I missed my flight. I was right up to the gate, and they're like, yeah, we're leaving in 5 minutes. You can't get on. I'm like, I can get in my seat really quickly. And they're like, nope. And I'd already said a prayer on the way there about, I didn't pray to make the flight. I just prayed for everything working out well. Um, and then I sent a prayer request out to our practitioner corps, and I was able to get on another flight that left just a few hours after. Well, not even a few hours, but then I had had to go to Detroit for a little layover. But I'd never been to Detroit before, so there you go, a new city off my list. And I was home in just a couple of hours later than I would have been. And it was beautiful, sunny weather when I got here. Um, and because it took me longer than I thought to get home, I actually didn't have to work at all on Friday. So we'll see what the other blessings are that are coming from having a different flight than the one I originally planned. But I got home, and it was not a horrible travel experience because my prayer was for a easy and enjoyable travel experience. And I was laughing at myself just walking through the airport as I was trying to get my flight because it's a long story, but there were funny things. And instead of getting mad, I was just laughing because it's like, oh well, it is what it is, and I trust. So prayer
Amen.
works.
Thank you, Breen. Yeah, and I was part of the text chain that was praying for Breen, and thinking in the back of my mind, I have on occasion flown home from Minnesota on a Friday morning, and it's much more busy than you think it would be. And also knowing as I was doing the prayer that Breen was in such a perfect position for this to unfold, because it's first thing in the morning. The airline really wants to get him home. Um, we have if something does go wrong, the company's going to pay for it. He'll probably not have to work this afternoon. And who knows how obnoxious the person in the seat next to him on that first flight would have been. You
Would
just,
have
you
been,
just
yeah.
never know.
And it was spring break, starting spring break, which I didn't know. So lots of kids
There
heading
you
out
go.
places.
There you are. Christine Joy,
Let me see. Am I
you're good.
unmuted? Looking for. Can you guys hear me?
We
Yeah.
can.
Oh, okay. So I have two prayer work stories. One is just I mean, I'm just really enjoying the living untethered class, experiencing a lot of um, growth. I've last class this past week, we had the honor of having Rick Moss do some exercises with us to clear, the stuff that bogs us down. And it was such a beautiful, amazing experience. I'm so thankful that I've had that opportunity, and since then, it's given me another set of tools to work with, and you know, repeating some of those experiences. I realized, hey, it's not, there were some things that I actually didn't acknowledge. It's not just necessarily the same old stuff repeating patterns. It's, oh, wait, hold on. There is something I didn't need to acknowledge that then allowed me to help like clear some things. So, I mean, to me, it's beautiful. I'm so grateful to be a part of it. It's amazing. And then the other one is, um, for like the last 2 days, I've had this head cold nonstop, like nonstop dripping. A lot of the over the counter stuff I can't take because the ingredients counteract with some medicines. And, I said a prayer for health. And instead of focusing on, I was really, just very careful about the words and the impressions of setting the intention and the prayer. So it wasn't for a return to health. It was, complete health. Because I was concerned that I'd have to call, the crew today and say, I can't stop dripping and running. I won't be able to do the flames of faith. And so I said this beautiful, prayer, focusing on the wholeness and the health and the body already being able to do what it needs to do. And I woke up and um that my nose is clear. I'm not running, and I was able to be a part of this
Beautiful.
celebration today. So
Beautiful. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, the prayer works. I mean, there's one power that's creating everything. So prayer works on all of it. And if there's an experience that you've been having that you're not liking and you can't figure out what to pray for, that's why we got practitioners. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. If you have a kazoo on hand, grab your kazoo, unmute your microphone, and we will play in the announcements with Sandy.
This budding almost spring of information is on our website at newthoughtphilly.org and in our weekly e-newsletter. Please sign up on the website so we can keep in touch. Consider taking your spiritual practice to the next level when personal practitioner class begins in the fall. There's no obligation to continue to professional training in year 2. Contact Reverend Bill to see what you need to do to be ready. We host 15-minute meditations on Zoom twice every day. If you haven't taken part lately, Zoom in this week. They're inspiring, fun, and quick. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings this week are also on Insight Timer Live. Our free screening of Angels and Saints on Sunday, April 4th at 4 p.m. at Falzer and hybrid on Zoom. It's an award-winning Philly-made documentary about sex, gender, and religion, what they have in common, and why they're so hard to talk about. It'll be followed by a discussion with the producer and director. We're visiting the Wolf Sanctuary in Gilbertsville on Friday, March 22nd. Please contact Sandy. Her contact information will be in the chat. Episode 141 of Reverend Bill's Practical Prayer Podcast is peace of mind. Listen wherever you get your podcasts and get a peek behind the scenes in the live recording session on Monday at 1 p.m. on New Thought Media Network. Follow, subscribe, like, and share our social media on Instagram, Facebook, Insight Timer, and YouTube, and join the 1,749 spiritual adventurers in our group on meetup.com. The Power of Eight Intention Circle meets on Zoom every Monday at 6:30 p.m. All are invited to join us tomorrow for this powerful group spiritual practice. We're always grateful for your financial support. You can make a tax-deductible donation by Zelle, Cash App, check, PayPal, and Venmo, and credit and debit card. Thank you to the team that makes our celebration work and has fun doing it. To join the joy, contact Sandy. Next Sunday is hybrid at Falzer with I Don't Know. Reverend Bill explores how not knowing can be a powerful tool to invite in new understanding. Live original music by Dale Kittrell. The celebration will be followed by a potluck lunch in honor of Reverend Bill's birthday on March 16th. You can contact Sandy to RSVP and let us know what you'll bring for lunch. The practitioners are available for professional sessions by appointment. After the celebration, Joe's available for a quick miracle in a minute prayer, and we'll leave the Zoom meeting open after the celebration for casual conversation.
Yeah, so make sure you keep that conversation casual afterwards. There would be no seriousness in the conversation later. So we have a special gift and a blessing for people who drop by for the second time. We do that in person because giving you a pen and a keychain light through Zoom is more challenging than it might be. If there's anybody who is here for the first time, I'm not seeing anybody for the first time. Is there anyone who's here for the first time today? Go ahead and just wave your hand. No? Okay. Well, I know Gillian hasn't been here for quite some time, so we will use Gillian as our anchor, and everybody else will be included in this blessing. So the rest of us, let's all rub our hands together. Feel the warmth, something we can do at the very beginning of March. It does feel warmer now. Feel the love coming up, and share that now. We know that you are the bright light of God's love. Thank you so much for shining that light and sharing that love with us today. And welcome home. As Gillian plays another song, we're going to, I invite you to go into gallery view so that you can make eye contact with the people who we're in community with. And if you're on a device, you can go into whatever view, you can swipe across and see various people on. Gillian?
Yeah. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Thank you, Gillian. Thank you so much. That is so beautiful. And as we mentioned earlier, that's so different than the original that Daniel Nahmod wrote that starts with a fuzzy electric guitar. Thank you for that. Christine Joy is going to lead us. The newly, freshly clear Christine Joy is going to lead us in the flames of faith this morning.
Right here.
As soon as she finds the script.
Right here, yeah. I had to get me something. We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from the one power, love, intelligence, which we call spirit or God. We honor the richness that comes from our shared diversities and bless the interwoven energy of the divine, feminine, and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the earth-based traditions, honoring the belief and practices of all the indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal mental healing. As we light the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone or any place you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Blessed be. The reading today is The 10 Rules for Being Human by Chérie Carter-Scott, which has been around since the 90s and has been circulating on the internet over and over and over again. And that's going to be shared with us by Jane.
Okay. So, rules for being human. Number 1, you will receive a body. You may like it or hate it, but it will be yours for the entire period this time around. It is the only thing you really own or are guaranteed to keep for your whole life. 2, you will learn lessons. You are enrolled in a full-time informal school called Life on Planet Earth. Each day in this school, you will have the opportunity to learn lessons. You may like the lessons or think them irrelevant or stupid. Number 3, there are no mistakes, only lessons. Growth is a process of experimentation, trial and error. The so-called failed experiments are as much a part of the process as the experiment that ultimately works. 4, a lesson is repeated until learned. It will be presented to you in various forms until you have learned it. When you've learned it, you can then go on to the next lessons. If you don't learn lessons easy, they become harder. You will know you've learned a lesson when your actions change. 5, learning lessons does not end. There is no part of life that does not contain its lessons. Every person, every incident is the universal teacher. If you are alive, there are lessons to be learned. Number 6, there is no better than here. Nothing leads to happiness. When your there has become a here, you will simply obtain another there that again looks better than here. Number 7, others are merely mirrors of you. You cannot love or hate something about another person unless it reflects to you something you love or hate in yourself. Number 8, what you create of your life is up to you. You have all the tools and resources you need. What you do with them is up to you. There are 3 kinds of people: those who make things happen, those who watch what happens, and those who wondered what happened. Take charge of your life, or someone else will. Number 9, your answers lie inside you. All you need to do is look, listen, and trust. Number 10, you will tend to forget all of this.
Jaya Bhagavan, 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 Jaya Bhagavan. Jaya Bhagavan, 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 Jaya
Beautiful. Thank you, Jillian. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A few weeks ago, Carolyn sent me a little internet thing. She says, I'm sure you've seen this before. And it was the 10 rules from being human. And I was not familiar with it. Um, I'm sure I've seen it before. It was written in the 90s by Chérie Carter-Scott. It was included in the first Chicken Soup for the Soul book, which I have and I've read, so I must have seen it at some point, but it had slipped my mind. And it's wonderful. It is not the final answer on what are the rules for being human, but the 10 rules for being human are a wonderful start. So I thought, let's go ahead and talk about that today. And we were discussing, should we do all 10 rules the way that the internet thing that Carolyn sent around to me was presented in the reading, or would that undermine what was going on in the talk? Well, these things have been around for a long time, and we get to continue experiencing them differently. So let's dive in one more time. Number one, you will receive a body. You may like it or hate it, but it'll be yours for the entire period this time around. It's the only thing you really own or are guaranteed to keep for your whole life. So you have a body, and you have to care for it. You have to care for your body, or you don't have to care for your body. There are people who are really specific about what they eat and drink and their activities and the rest of it. And there are other people who just don't care. And it would seem as though the people who take good care of their bodies would have their bodies take better care of them. And a lot of times that's the case. A lot of times the people who are looking to be good stewards of our bodies are having a better experience than the people who don't. And of course, we all have examples of people who don't get any exercise, eat all of the wrong foods, or drinking too much and drugging too much, and they're still having a wonderful life. And you just scratch your head and say, how is that working? But it's not our business. On the other end of the spectrum, we can obsess over our health and be so involved in limiting the things that we're doing and making sure that we're not going to do anything that's unsafe or unproductive or unhelpful that we forget to enjoy our body. We forget to use it. We forget to go out and have fun with it. But that notion that you will receive a body and it's yours for life, it is possible through mishaps to lose pieces of our body. It's also possible through intentional behavior to reshape our body, either to shape it larger or smaller, to build up or slim down, to have different parts of our body work differently. There are certainly medications and compounds and things that we can use that are going to make our body act a little differently. But as I was thinking about this, there's only two ways that we can add to our body. One is tattoos, which is kind of superficial, but it does add something to our body that wasn't there before. It stays for a while. And the other one is surgery, either taking stuff off or putting stuff in. So as I look around this group, there are a fair number of people who have artificial somethings in their body that was donated by some other group. And so we have added to our bodies. We have taken stuff out and replaced stuff. But that's about the extent of it. Other than that, the body that we have is the body that we were born with and is the one we were going to continue with until the last time that we're here. And of course, for rule number one, you will receive a body. The encouragement is use it, enjoy it, and appreciate it. Next one, you will learn lessons. You are enrolled in a full-time informal school called Life on Planet Earth. Each day in the school, you will have the opportunity to learn lessons. You may like the lessons or think them irrelevant or stupid. So I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand if you've ever considered one of life lessons to be stupid. Although my hand would certainly be up because sometimes I have stupid lessons. One of my pithy sayings is that experience is recognizing a mistake as we're making it again. That's pretty stupid, but when I know what's going to happen, then I can make a different decision, perhaps a better decision than I made the first time through. And that's a lesson. And then the question is, when those lessons come along, what are you going to learn? What will you learn? And not just what will you learn, but how will you learn? You can learn it easily. You can learn it the hard way. So we get to involve ourselves in how we're going to learn the lessons. When we understand that there's a lesson going on, and oh, by the way, it's all lessons, then we can let go of our judgment about what the lesson is and open ourselves up to the possibility that there is something wonderful to be learned here. Maybe there's something to let go of. Maybe there's something to surrender. Number 3, there are no mistakes, only lessons. Growth is a process of experimentation, trial and error. The so-called failed experiments are as much a part of the process as the experiment that ultimately works. So, and I thought of two different examples as to how that works and what it means for us. As scientists have found out about subatomic particles, they do it by creating very high energy fields and smashing other particles together. And they smash them together and see what comes about from the explosion. And that's how we're finding out other things. And it's pretty destructive. It is pretty destructive. On the other end of the spectrum, pie. I know there's several of us who really like pie. And as you're working on making your perfect pie, you go into the test kitchen. And along the way, there are some pies that are better than others. So we don't really think of them as failed pies. We think of them as room for improvement pies. And then we get to that one that we really like and we stick with the recipe. And that's the lesson. The lesson is that we get to innovate. We get to try different things, try new things, and then we evaluate. How'd that one work? Is that the way that I want it to be? Do I want to have something different? And then after that, we iterate. We do it again. We go through the process again of innovating and evaluating and then iterating. And that is one of the lesson processes that goes on over and over and over again. We are able to do that as often as we want to. There are people who think that they are exempt from the process of learning lessons. We describe these people as arrogant, or perhaps ignorant, or if we're being gentle, mistaken. Because one of the things that I have noticed is that we are always learning lessons. Furthermore, there are not mistakes, they're lessons. Sometimes it's a lesson in what we never want to have happen again. But it's not a mistake. It's learning that we never want that to happen again. We have smashed those pieces together. We have seen what comes out of it and said, nope, that's enough for me. I have a member of my extended family who's dealing with a serious health challenge. Had a diagnosis and chemotherapy and then a reaction, landed in the hospital, and got to the conversation in the family where we're talking about quality of life. And I understand, when somebody gets to that part of their life, especially when they're reaching a certain age, we talk about quality of life. But what the heck is the matter with the rest of us that we're not talking about quality of life? How about all of us today? What does quality of life mean to you? Is it about success? Is it about activities or action? Is it about prosperity? Is it about love? Is it about feeling satisfied and complete and uplifted and peaceful? If you had a perfect quality of life now, first of all, what would that look like? And second of all, how is that different than the quality of life that you're having and you've been having? So look at that, not to beat yourself up. Oh, by the way, in all of these rules for being human, there is an opportunity for us to beat ourselves up. And if you really need to do that, then go ahead. But I discourage it. It's really not tremendously helpful. If your life were going perfectly, what would that look like? Rule number 4, a lesson is repeated until it is learned. It will be presented to you in various forms until you have learned it. When you've learned it, you can then go on to the next lessons. Lessons, there's always more than one. If you don't learn lessons easily, they become harder. You will know you've learned a lesson when your actions changed. Ouch. You will know you've learned a lesson when your actions change. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. The lesson is repeated until it's learned, until your actions change. My friend Lou Doty has a song, one of the lines in it is, what we don't learn today, we learn tomorrow. What we don't learn from joy, we learn from sorrow. And that is so true. That is such a reminder of, okay, let me open to the possibility that there is something here for me to learn, especially when we find ourselves resistant to learning more, because there's something possible there. There's something to learn. We can learn it, and then we can learn some more and learn some more and learn some more. As we open to whatever it is that's out there, as we let go of our attachment to having things be the way we originally thought they were, those new possibilities come along. This is something that the Buddhists talk about a lot, and the one word answer that they have for it is suffering. In Living Untethered, um, Michael Singer describes the same process as preference. If we want something to be a particular way, and it's a different way, then we can allow ourselves to be unhappy because it's not the way we wanted it to be. And the fact of the matter is, it's the way it is. Now, we might be able to do something to change the way it is, but do we have to suffer in the meantime? Short answer, no. Number 5, learning lessons does not end. There's no part of life that does not contain its lessons. Every person, every incident is the universal teacher. If you are alive, there are lessons to be learned. If you are alive, there are lessons to be learned. And that's kind of a clue as to the lessons that we're learning, because people say, well, I've learned all of my lessons. I've learned everything that I need to know. I don't need to go through this process again. We don't know how to leave. We have reason to believe there's ample evidence that each one of us is going to at some point in some fashion, but we don't know how we're going to do it. So up until that last gasp, there is something that we're still going to learn. And maybe we can learn that from the people who are focusing their life on quality of life. Maybe there's some insight as to what we can do. Jane is working in hospice at this point and around a lot of people who are at that period of their life. And hospice is interesting because it seems from the outside that it'd be really a real downer. But in fact, it is an opportunity for somebody who's going through transformation and transition. Dina's sitting in the other room teaching a childbirth class, and that's the transition on the other end of the timeline, as families are bringing a new child, a new person into the world, and they're going to go through that entire process, learning all of those lessons, and then eventually we're gonna get to the end. And every step along the way, every step we get to be learning something. Lesson number 6: there is no better than here. Actually, this is rule number 6. Nothing leads to happiness. How's that for depressing? Nothing leads to happiness. When your there becomes a here, you will simply obtain another there that again looks better than your here. It's that whole grass is greener sort of a thing, and everybody is familiar with that, and you don't need to live it. We have a tendency to judge other people from the outside, and we also, using that same technique, judge ourselves from the inside. Have you noticed that if there were another person who were talking to you out loud the way you talk to yourself in the privacy of your own mind, you'd probably call the police on them? Or a lawyer? Or at the very least, slam the door on them and run the heck out of the room, because who needs to do that? And we don't need to get into a different place in order to be okay with the place where we are. We can be okay, regardless of what the experiences are that we've had up until now. It's great spiritual. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. And that's a wonderful way to put it. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. And I could tell you about it, and you might know it a little bit from the trouble that I tell you about. But if I just tell you nobody knows the trouble I've seen, you can take it at face value. Yeah, okay. Been through some stuff. And then pivot around and talk about what we want to have instead. What's the pivot there? How can I be present as you go through that transformation and you grow beyond whatever that limiting or uncomfortable experience might be? It is possible that I am having a better day than you. And whenever you encounter somebody else, that same possibility exists. They might be having a better day than you. Conversely, you may be having a better day than them. And what's the important part about that? It doesn't matter. You're having the day you're having, they're having the day that they're having, and to whatever extent you can connect with them and be present for each other and uplift and get yourself back into balance so the day that you're having, the day that you're okay having are the same, that becomes magical. That's where peace of mind lives, in that experience of balance. You don't need to change your there to a here, your here to a there. You can instead become aware of how the here that you're having now is going to be okay. Lesson number 7, others are merely mirrors of you. You cannot love or hate something about another person unless it reflects to you something you love or hate in yourself. For details on this, see lessons above, because that's what they are. And the way the lessons come in is when other people are mirroring things for you. In a very simplistic way, we think, oh, well, if I see something that I don't like, it's because I've got that in myself. And that's true. We can hate or dislike in others that which we dislike in ourselves, or like in others that which we like in ourselves. But it works the other way too, because we are our own anchor point. And when we see something going on outside, when there's something that I love, that's particularly valuable to me, and somebody comes along trashing it, I can recognize that person is doing something, not because I love what they're doing, but because I don't like what they're doing. I love something else. So it's not because I would do that, it's because I wouldn't do that, and I'm recognizing that in them. And again, lessons. They're all lessons. They're all opportunities to learn something, to change something, to be in a different place. Number 8, what you create of your life is up to you. You have all the tools and resources you need. What you do with them is up to you. There are 3 kinds of people: those who make things happen, those who watch what happens, and those who wonder what happened. Take charge of your life or someone else will. Very insightful. Take charge of your life or someone else will. Who's in charge of your life? We all think that we're in charge of our life, and every once in a while we give away our power. And every once in a while we give away our power. And you can judge yourself and beat yourself up when you realize you've given away your power a little bit. But it turns out giving away our power makes things much easier, because when we give away our power, we then become victims to whatever is going on, but we don't have to figure it out ourselves. We can claim that we're not responsible for whatever it is that's going on. That is the difference, by the way, between our technique of practical prayer, spiritual mind treatment, and most traditional prayer. Because we believe that the answer to our prayer, the infinite creative power, is always saying yes. Whatever it is that we are opening to in our deep belief, that infinite is saying yes. And in traditional prayer, I have come to learn, the belief is that we will say our prayer and then the divine will either say yes or no or not now. And then we get to say, well, I did my prayers, but I guess God didn't want me to have it. So we get to give our power away to Santa God outside of ourselves and then complain that it was Santa's fault that we didn't get what we wanted to have. What you create in your life is up to you. You get to take charge of your life to whatever extent you are comfortable and willing to do so. Personal story for myself. I have managed to go 4 years since the pandemic began without getting COVID, as has my wife, Dina, and she is very, very much focused on staying healthy, not just from COVID, all sorts of things. So a lot of the choices and activities that we are doing are based on that level of safety. And somewhere in there, for me, is the balance point between who's in control. Is me going along with what she would want to do, enabling, or is it being supportive? And there are nuanced decisions and understandings that we get to make about all sorts of things that we're doing. It's not all clear in black and white. It is not always obvious what the steps are. And that's where step number 9 comes in. Your answers lie inside you. All you need to do is look, listen, and trust. All you need to do is look, listen, and trust. That sounds so simple. That sounds so very simple. That's the process. That's basically the game-changing process. How do I look, listen, and trust? Practice. Spiritual practice. Meditation, prayer, contemplation, journaling, forgiveness, intention setting. To be aware of what is inside of you. And by the way, if you're always making noise, if you're always wanting to be around something that's distracting you, you're not going to hear the answer that lies inside of you. You're going to hear the answer that's coming in from the outside somewhere. So to whatever extent we can let go of the distractions, we can open ourselves to that still small voice and let the answers that lie inside of us actually show up for us. And number 10, you will tend to forget all of this, which seems pretty disappointing. You will tend to forget all of this. And so then the idea is that we forget all of this as soon as we come in, as soon as we begin this life together. And so why would we do that? If we will tend to forget all of these life lessons, which are so important and clearly so important, then basically life is rigged. This whole thing is rigged. Why in the world would we be here? And why would it be rigged to be that way? We are here because the infinite put us here. The infinite, all-knowing, all-powerful, all-present, omniscient. In order to experience the finite, to experience limitation, requires us. That's why we're here. We are the way that the infinite gets to experience individual life. So of course we're going to forget all of this, because that's the way that we can go through and learn some more lessons. So as you go through life, as you go through today, as you continue on, open yourselves up to the rules for being human and let yourself be informed about, are there any little tiny changes or huge changes that I can make in my life to bring something delightful and joyous and productive and happy and uplifting and balanced and peaceful and serene into my quality of life? Open yourself up to the guidance, see what it says, and then do that, because you deserve it. So it is.
How can a body prove its worth? What if I gave the wind a curl, hoping some industrious bird might weave it into something warm and good? There's nothing hard at all about the center of a bone. It's sweet to suck the soft marrow. Oh, keep on working at me till I'm all hollow and lighter than a dovetailed swallow. Oh, 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 oh. Singing out the sweetest songs to make the night not seem so long and dark. There's nothing hard at all about the center of a bone. It's sweet to suck the soft marrow. Oh, keep on working at me till I'm all hollow and lighter than a dovetailed swallow. Oh, 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 oh. about frost at night and feel the weight I'm carrying.
So now is the time that we do our meditation. And what my intention for this meditation is to take a very deep dive into the very nature of rules. So let us prepare our bodies for meditation. Be seated comfortably, your spine straight, but in a relaxed way, comfortable way. And just take a moment to survey your body to see if there's any tension or discomfort, and just breathe into that and give your body permission to relax. And pay particular attention to where your feet are resting. And just know wherever you are, how high up from the earth you are, those energetic connections to the earth are still present. Then I direct your attention to the base of your spine, that first chakra, color red, root chakra, that Shakti, that prana, that chi, which flows through your body. Beginning at the root chakra, moving up to below your navel, the color orange, center of procreation, creation, and joy. And up to the yellow in the solar plexus is where your personal power resides. And up into the green of the heart, the center of love, and the pathway to the higher realm of consciousness. The blue in your throat, from where you speak your truth and your word. To your ajna, that third eye between your eyebrows, color indigo. Your intuition, your higher senses, your spiritual senses. And all that light continues its journey as it moves out through your crown chakra, and that color is violet. And right here, we are at choice. Whatever we perceive, be it that violet light or white light, it's knowing that all of these colors combine to form white light. And allow that light to surround you, to support you. And if you have not already, please close your eyes, and if you wish, place your hands on your thighs, palms pointing upward. And take in a deep breath. And just know that whatever it is you need at this moment, and it's different for all of us, is present. Accept it. And as you release that breath, just feel that white light flowing through you, just washing away anything which no longer serves. And take in another deep breath, and when your body tells you to let it go, just feel that beautiful sensation of that light emanating from your palms and going out and connecting with all the light that is everywhere. And as you take this third breath, we take together, just know that, and be aware of that gentle flow of that energy, all culminating at your root chakra, at your crown chakra. And as it is flowing through your crown chakra, allow your consciousness to be fully open to receive and to release. And allow yourself to be fully present in this moment. And while your breathing resumes in a way which supports your well-being, I am going to drop in a word for your contemplation, and that word is paradigm. And what is your paradigm? Paradigm is your MO. It is your worldview. It is the aggregation of all of your lessons, your life experiences, what you believe to be true, your belief system, as well as all of the rules that come along with that belief system. And as John Miguel Ruiz teaches us, the very first paradigm that we are exposed to is what he calls the dream for the planet. And that exposure begins the instant we arrive on this planet into the earthly experience, and what he calls domestication is our embracing, our interaction with this paradigm of I prefer to call that the collective consciousness rather than the dream for the planet. I think they're one and the same. And as we grow and as we interact with in this earthly plane as divine beings, we first become self-aware. We develop the capacity to reason and to question. And we are at choice to accept whatever rules are given to us in our domestication, or we may question them and revise them to fit what our life experiences, our lessons have taught us, and what beliefs we hold. And much like these lessons, which are ongoing, these changes in consciousness, embracing new beliefs, and every time we do that, a new paradigm evolves and a new set of rules. And this is ongoing. So my invitation for you now is to bring to mind some shift in consciousness that may be going on. And what is this new paradigm that is unfolding, is forming, and what are these accompanying rules that go along with this shift in consciousness? And it all seems to be a little bit incomplete. It's still in the works. I invite you to go within to that inner knower, to that infinite wisdom that dwells within, and just simply ask it, what is it that I need to know? What is it that I must release? What is it that I must become so this new paradigm and this new set of rules can emerge and become part of my consciousness? And with this in mind, I invite you to join me in the quiet.
All we need is in inside ourselves. We are mirrors, reflecting. Life is reflected back to us. The mirror must be clear so that we can see and have vision. Look, listen, and trust. That is our charge. Open up to the guidance within. Look at it, listen to it, trust it. It's our inner knowing, our connection with the divine, to receive the lessons and the knowing. Surrender, reimagine, and trust. What are we attached to? What do we avoid? All of this improves our vision, improves how we can respond to things, improves how we take in those lessons. For all of this good, there are challenges, but we have the power, we have the ability, the truth of who we are, divine sparks, divine individual expressions of that one power and presence. With great power comes great responsibility. It's ours for the taking. So for all this good, I'm grateful. And I claim it for each one here. And I'll release that word to the law. It always says yes, and so it is. Take a deep breath. Move around a little bit, shrug your shoulders. Relax, open your eyes, come back to the room. Grounded. As Gillian plays another song.
Words are flying out like endless rain into a paper cup. They slither while they pass, they slip away across the universe. Pools of sorrow, waves of joy are drifting through my open mind, possessing and caressing me. Jaya Guru Deva. Oh, nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world. Images of broken light which dance before me like a million eyes. They call me on and on across the universe. Sounds me under like a restless wind inside a letterbox. They tumble blindly as they make their way across the universe. Jaya Guru Deva. Oh, nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world. Tones of laughter, shades of earth are ringing through my open views, inciting and inviting me. Limitless, undying love, which shines around me like a million suns. It calls me on and on, across the universe. Jaya Guru Deva. Oh, nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world.
Thank you, Gillian. Perfect choice. Perfect choice. Thank you. So much wonderful stuff going on today, and so many words have already been spoken. So as we used to say when I was doing a radio morning show, we're sounding great and running late. That's okay. Such richness from all of this. We're up to the wisdom share, where if you have something that you'd like to give voice to, this is an opportunity to do so. I see that Jesus has his hand up. Go for it, Jesus.
Thank you, Rev. Let me start off. Well, I don't know how it could get better, but just get better and better. It's like insanity. Last week I was in Honduras, and it felt this is how the celebration felt today. And I took a haircut and a shave, and it was less than $5. It's remarkable. The money lasts over there like you'd be like a millionaire, and you don't even know it. But in this day, it's just like everything fit all together, starting from the prayer and Jane speaking about her parents and Breen missing a flight, which is, I don't think it's nothing new to me, but I could relate a little bit. And the meditation, even the flames of faith, I was like, just transformative in my life, it brings some transformation. And Christine sharing about the class that she taking, I like to take the classes because each class is different and it brings me to another stage.
You got muted, Jesus.
Yeah. So a phone call came in. I also get like a Reader's Digest, all in one in the celebration, because sharing her experience, I could relate. And then the teacher, Reverend Bill, taking the courage to explain these lessons. And then at the end, he told me, I'm not going to remember none of them. I said, what's the use then? But it was so wonderful, and it's just, I feel delighted to be part of here and to be here in this day. So thanks everybody that participated in the music. It just brought some more healing to my soul and heart and mind, that I could run like Elijah for 40 days and 40 nights and not get tired. So thank you.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Let us move along to the offering, Sandy.
New Thought Philadelphia is all about spreading the love. Our community is supported by your contributions. The gift you share helps fund our work in the world, and the way you shine your light spreads the love. We're grateful for every way you share. We don't have a basket today, but there's a donate button on the website to make a donation by credit card, PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. You can also mail a check to our office in Ardmore. The offering affirmation's on the screen. Please unmute and we'll say the affirmation together. I live
in an
abundant universe.
I am
one
with the infinite
source of
source
of all good.
I am
am
the
The
center
center
of
of
prosperity.
I enjoy the richness of life.
I bless
That's
my
my
gifts.
my
gift.
gifts.
I
I
share my
share
gifts.
my
my
gift
gift.
with gratitude and
Joy.
Joy.
So that as I give,
Oh, that
As
as
I
I
give,
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 I
I
do,
receive, and
and
so it
so it
is.
is.
So it is.
So
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, everybody. You remember back in the early days of doing Zoom meetings, that sounded completely disruptive, and now it's like that's just the way it sounds. Here. Gillian, one more for us?
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. Or being there.
Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun. I say it's alright. Little darling, the smiles returning to their faces. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Little darling, I feel the ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's alright.
Thank you, Gillian. Thank you, everybody. Such a wonderful time to spend with you this morning. We will be, reminder, we will be at Falzer next Sunday for a hybrid celebration. People who are remote are welcome to join in. The people who are there, welcome to bring something for a potluck luncheon. Get in touch with Sandy. Her stuff is in the thing. How's that for being specific? And yeah, and everything else continues to unfold. Deep gratitude for all of the good that's happened today. Let us close with another cacophony. Go ahead and unmute, and you can repeat after me. I am light.
I
am
am
light.
Light.
I am love.
I
am
am
love.
love.
I am human.
I
I
am
am
human.
human.
I know the rules.
I know
I
the
know the
rules.
rules.
I let my light shine.
I
Let
let
my
my
light
light
shine.
shine.
And so it is.
And
so
so
it
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 is.
is.
And don't break no rules.
Oh, you can break any rules you want. I
Right.
changed that. I live by the rules now. I just know the rules.
Mhm.
That's over, huh?
Thank you, Rev, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
Jesus.
you. Jillian, that heart, amazing. So beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it really is amazing.
You
Have you ever
sounded,
considered like doing that like as a volunteer thing for like hospice groups?
I have played in hospitals before. Yeah.
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 I have
I've played
client,
at
a patient
deathbeds,
right
yeah.
now, and that's like the thing she looks forward to every week is every Wednesday she has a harpist that comes to her apartment and just
Mhm.
plays for her for an hour, and she's just that just makes her whole entire week.
Yeah. Yeah.